All right, this next technique we're going to use is texture paste. You can do this. There's a lot of different kind of mediums, gels and things you can do. I'm just using acrylic texture paste. And I have palette knives, and I have a putty knife. I have an old canvas, right, just one that's been stained. And I'm going to work on both sides, but I'm going to show you two different techniques. So I'm just going to take some of this texture paste and I'm going to stir it up, get some on my palette knife, and I'm just going to put that in different areas. Now this is still the background, so you got to remember, if I'm putting this on the first layer, then everything that I put on top of it is going to be raised. So if you're doing a lot of papers and you're going to glue that paper onto the canvas, this might not be where you start. You may add it later, but might not be a good idea to start. If you're doing a lot of painting, then you can build up your canvas and get different textures. And I can spread that thin if I want to, but I don't really want to spread it thin. I'm going to create different types of textures at different levels. So it's like a layered effect. You can see I can just kind of run it through the palette knife. If I want to get a line, I can scrape it down deep to create different, almost like crevices. And I can spread it thin and smooth if I want in areas. I like, once I get some on, I like scraping it with my putty knife. And I'll take it and I'll angle it down on one edge. So you see I'm just kind of angling it down and I'm scraping that through. Add a little more here in different areas. And I want to keep it kind of rough and edgy. You know, if I'm adding this on, it's meant to be textured. It's not meant to be smooth, unless you want to build something up and put on top of it. Then it can be smooth. But right now I want it really kind of rough. I want to create some of these different lined edges. And really you just got to play around with it until you get what you like. So I'm going to let that harden up a little bit. On the other side of the canvas, I'm going to take a stencil, and if you don't have any stencils, you can make your own. Just grab a cereal box, cut it to flat edges, and then cut some shapes, either with scissors or an X-Acto knife, if you're a little older. And you can just cut your own stencils, whatever shapes, whatever lettering. And I'm just going to take this texture paste and I'm just going to lay it on top. I'm going to hold it tight. I'm just going to kind of scrape it through. And what this is going to do, it's going to create that stencil shape across the canvas. And if I'm doing a stencil, I can smooth it out because it's already going to have the shape of whatever the stencil is as I peel it off. So I have it down there. I'm going to very carefully peel it off, and you can see I have that nice shape texture. And you can see whatever textures you want to create, whatever stencils you want to create. I'm going to do a different pattern down here. And again, I'm going to hold it tight or tape it down. And I'm going to just run that smooth across the stencil. And I want to lift up. And I have some of that texture on there already. All right, again, if you don't want to do this at the start, we can come back to it later after we've got some layers of paint and paper on top. We can do some of this and then add some color to it as well. All right, that's texture paste.